sir, is the screen visible?
Not yet. It did not come any screen. Okay, it's coming. Okay, it's visible.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Yes, we can hear you.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are delighted to have this opportunity to present our paper here today in this international conference. Myself, Srijani Chattopadhyay, and my co-presenter is Arna Gupta. Both of us are postgrad students from Bhairab Ganguly College, West Bengal State University. The Murder of Roger Ackroyd is a detective novel by the British writer Agatha Christie, which was published in June 1926. As you can see, the title of our paper is The Murder of Roger Ackroyd as a study of the problem of psychology. So, we thought to analyze how Agatha Christie uses the psychological complexity to deepen character development and subvert traditional expectations in detective fiction. How themes like guilt, deception, and social control contribute to both the mystery and its resolution. Okay, so quickly moving to the next slide. Yes. Who doesn't know this lady? But as the presenter, it's my duty to introduce Agatha Christie in front of all of you. She is often called the Queen of Crime or the Queen of Mystery, and the era in which she wrote is often called the Golden Age of detective fiction. She wrote the world's longest running play, which was, of course, a record-breaking play of that day. The murder mystery named The Mousetrap. It had been performed in the West End Theatre of London since 1952. You can have a glance at the two separate lists of her two most popular detective series. The most thrilling Hercule Poirot series in the left-hand side, and in the right-hand side, the popular Miss Marple series, from which our favorite Mithin Mashi of Suchitra Bhattacharya is inspired. Now the presentation is over to my co-presenter, Arna Gupta.
Okay, so I'm audible, I guess. Are we audible?
Yes, audible.
Okay, so firstly we'll talk about the character of Dr. Shepherd, who is not only the narrator but also a high-functioning criminal, highly manipulative and calculative. Like many criminals, he also possesses some common traits. Firstly, he is an unreliable narrator who stays in deception. He creates his own manipulated version of the reality. He doesn't outright lies, but molds the truth. Secondly, another very significant trait we find in criminals, that is the lack of remorse, as well as the mental justification of committing that crime. In Freudian term, which is the defense mechanism that we all have, but without conscience, that's pretty much dangerous. They want to portray that they are the victim and it's their logical necessity. And the third one, another very significant one, which is the thrill of outsmarting others, like Shepherd tries to challenge Poirot. They are desperate to prove themselves superior through these kind of unethical acts. They also enjoy the crime. For example, the youngest serial killer, Amarjit Sada, I remember an example from Punjab, India. He said when he was confronted by the police, he used to enjoy the girls when they used to cry when he killed them. He used to enjoy that cry. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. Now let us come to the reasons of those traits. Firstly, though they are not really a victim of their situation, rather they are passionate about the crime, but it's also true that sometimes there is something that triggers their psychopathy or criminal mindset. And here it is Shepherd's financial issues. Secondly, as I mentioned, the thrill of outsmarting others, and I'll add to that they usually get a pleasure in that kind of thinking that they're superior. they enjoy, like I said, giving the example of Amarjeet. And thirdly, it's their emotional detachment and lack of remorse that makes them like this. Like serial killer Raman Raghav, another instance, when he was confronted by the police, he was absolutely like out of any kind of remorse. Okay, so now we'll discuss the theoretical relevances of these problems. Like we can relate Shepard's psyche, this kind of criminal psychopathic mindset, with Freud's structural model of our mind. As we see, Shepard's dark id drives him to the murder. His ego rather conceals it, and most importantly, his superego or his conscience is absolutely missing, and that in fact differentiates him from the other two characters we are going to talk about, and which is and that is why Poirot asserts he is given, if he is given the chance, he will murder again maybe. Secondly, we often see that many criminals have a very respectable public appearance, hiding or shadowing their darker self, like Shepard does have as well. So it's relevant to Jung's shadow archetype. Like in a recent series, I remember, from which I am using another example, there is a girl, Shampuna, who says that when a criminal has a white public appearance, then it's very difficult to deal with them. Thirdly, and very importantly, we see a psychology in the criminals, that is that they seek to show them superior very desperately, because they are like they have an inferiority complex under that, as Adler posits. Like for example, I remember a South Indian movie, Ratsasan, where the boy kills just to feel superior in front of those who once bullied him for his inferiority. So there is an inferiority complex under that kind of seeking superiority. And lastly, I can say that like Shakespeare's Iago, Shepard is a highly calculative and manipulative criminal. Okay, now let us come to Mrs. Ferrers. Unlike Shepard, she has a conscience, though she consumes poison physically, but the main aspect that mentally poisons her is her guilt of murdering her husband. This kind of people, even they escape the legal punishment, cannot escape from their conscience. Another thing that additionally leads her to suicide, that is the blackmail by Shepard. People who are blackmailed think they're in a trap which they can never escape. So ultimately what she does is killing herself, as they find this kind of victim of blackmail or guilt finds suicide as the only escape. Okay, now we'll discuss the reasons behind this. As we already know that her guilt is about murdering her husband, and as I already explained, that the helplessness of the people who are blackmailed. And now there is another very important thing, and I think nowadays we talk about this very much, that the suicidal people or the people with suicidal tendency need mental or emotional support. But Mrs. Ferrers didn't have that, which leads her to death. And now again we will discuss the theoretical relevances. We can clearly see a death drive in Mrs. Ferrers in Freudian terms, which is a thanatos, as we know that Freud gives the idea of eros, the life drive, and thanatos, the death drive. Also, in Erikson's theory of psychosocial development, we see in the third stage we should overcome our guilt, and last or eighth stage we should come in terms with our past. But both of these are missing in Mrs. Ferrers. And now, lastly, we'll discuss about Caroline, her psychology behind gossiping. She basically uses gossip as a weapon to assert social power or stay relevant, being somebody who knows everything before others and can inform others about that. And now the reason behind this is like being an unmarried woman at that time, she lacked the conventional definition of authority or status. So she tried to get that from gossip. It gives her a validation as well. She also has a fear of being left out, for which she gossiped to be in the center of the conversation. And also there is another very important thing, that is this habit gives her a dopamine rush or psychological pleasure. And now, lastly, we'll discuss again the theoretical relevances, the theoretical frameworks that we can relate it with. Firstly, as per Skinner's operant conditioning theory, we can say that the validation she gets from people through this gossip works as a very positive reinforcement. And if she has stopped, she would have faced social exclusion. For social inclusions, she does that. So that could be a negative reinforcement. And through Piaget's theory, we can understand that Caroline's moral reasoning of serving justice or finding the truth through gossip. Anyways, lastly, and very importantly, unlike Dr. Shepard and Mrs. Ferrers, it isn't that harmful, and rather it has a positive side, as Gilbert and Huber points out, that gossip empowered women in patriarchal texts. So now we are done of the characterizations, and now we are here to conclude.
Okay, so it's time for wrapping it up. This study aims to show that Christie's work goes beyond plot-driven entertainment, offering a nuanced exploration of the human mind. It encourages the readers to reconsider how crime fiction can reflect psychological truths and challenge moral assumptions about guilt, justice, and identity. Through these complex characterizations, Christie's trying to make us understand what are the different types and extents of the problems, and how we can stop these problems by changing those reasons influencing it. But she's also showing that when it exceeds a certain level, it can't be changed, or no catharsis can happen. So to be aware, before it reaches that level, she's also highlighting how the presence and absence of conscience is influencing the possibility of making a change or the process of catharsis. So this much for today. Thank you all for your heartily cooperation. Any kind of questions, suggestions, and as well as observations are gladly invited. And these are our email addresses through which you can always reach out to us. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for presenting your paper. Let me say something briefly. The valedictory session and concluding remarks will be made in. You can see the link on the same link with inauguration session link in session A, and you can join that the valedictory session and concluding remarks in the same link for making an inaugural session link. So then let me conclude that this presentation and this group will be ending. Thank you for your participation. Thank you. You can leave this side, then you can rejoin it the next, the other one.